Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Ferdbird the Nerd with another comic book market report for you guys. This is the 1st of February. It's Tuesday. Hope you guys are enjoying your week. The Fantastic Four trailer just came out today, which is pretty exciting. I put one comic at the end of the show to kind of look after. I will not say buy it, but hope you guys enjoy the list. Hit that like button, subscribe, forward the link over to whomever you think would enjoy this company. And shout out to all the people that helped me out with this list. And I'll definitely give you a shout out in the video as well as we go through. But let's get into it. I'll shut up and show you what I guys got for this week. And yeah, I wouldn't say this is the most exciting list, but it is a list nonetheless. It's pretty heavy on some longer term stuff as well. So first off, I got Uncanny X-Men number 58. This, of course, is the first Havoc. It's a pretty cool cover. I think it's a little hard to see at first. I would say it kind of pops out at you, which I think was the initial kind of goal with these Uncanny X-Men books. But it's an awesome cover regardless. I think you could, I would say this is the first negative space, quote unquote, variant or concept. 50 to 75 bucks for a raw grade copy. I would say that's like a fine to very fine grade. I don't think that's a bad price for a B, C list character that's been around for a very long time and could or could not make it to the big screen. I'm not banking on him making it to the big screen, but just a very inexpensive key X-Men book to get that's quote unquote Silver Age. So next up, a little more modern stuff. Shout out to the dudes at Stein's Top 10 Beyond Wednesdays and all the other lists out there that have talked about this book. I think Black Crown's talked about as well. And our good friend Mikey Baker, this is for you. Spawn number 356, the Mark Spears variant. This has been talked about very consistently for the past few weeks. I'm not personally like I wouldn't say I'm not a fan, but I'm not a fanatic about Mark Spears. I think honestly that his writing, to me, as far as the books I've read, is far more intriguing to myself than the art he's done. His art is amazing. His interior art, you guys take a look at the interior art. Do not look at just the covers of Mark Spears. It's really good. The Monster series, where I've only read the first issue, I can't get my hand on a second issue. It was a really fun, kind of scary, like spooky book, but it's just gone too crazy for me to spend the prices on it. Nonetheless, 20 to 25 bucks raw. This is a beautiful Spawn book. I think it's pretty heavy on the red there, which is pretty cool. I don't know of any accurate CGC sales on this, and I'm assuming it's because just the time lengths of CGC, they're grading pretty tough on books nowadays. We'll probably have to wait for some Mark Spears like modern books to come out, and we'll see. But next on the list, bring it back a few years. So Sonic number 2, the 1 in 25 retailer incentive variant. These Sonic books are always fun to look out for. During the late 2000s, there wasn't a lot of Sonic books being sold, so these ratio variants are going to go for pretty high price. I think this is a pretty clean one. 200 to 250 for a raw copy of this book. Again, this came out 7 years ago, which is amazing. And I think for a longer term, this is a nice bet to have. Any Sonic book that goes for 1 to 200, that's raw. It's in a high grade, which these do grade pretty high. I don't think it's too hard to get a nice grade on these guys. Just buy it, slab it, and hold on to it. Obviously, if you're like a Sonic fan, these are the ones you're going to look out for the next 10 to 15 years, maybe 5 to 10. I don't know if not that long, but Sonic's hot. It's a consistent book or character to have. It's one of the top, I would say, top 20 properties of all time, and it's just growing with kids liking this type of stuff. Keeping it Sonic number 1 from 2018, the second print. I couldn't find a full cover of this, but this is pretty cool. 40 bucks for a clean copy. I don't think that's a bad bet. It's going to be pretty hard to get a 9.8 in this book, obviously. So perhaps maybe buy one for 25 to 30, keep it for longer term, and then, just hope that it goes up in price. But I don't think that's a bad buy-in for 40 bucks, honestly. But, we're always trying to get a deal for stuff. But that's the going rate for it right now. And again, this is the second print from 2018. So this issue came out before the previous book that we just talked about. Maybe you can find this in a back issue bin. I'm not sure, but happy hunting. Captain America 25. I think the movie comes out this weekend, I believe. Right? Anyway, so I'd sell this book now. I don't think you're going to make that much money off of it. 98 went for 119 this past week. There's been a lot of bad stuff coming out about the movie. I'm still going to go see it. I think we as like fans are just kind of, I don't know, we're a little ticked off at the MCU. I'm personally not. I could really care less, but I'm not going into it thinking it's going to be, Endgame. We were spoiled for a very long time, and I think this might be the last Marvel movie where it's like they're trying stuff out that's not really working, and they'll, going forward this summer, I think things will be better. But I mean, we haven't even seen the movie yet, so who knows what's going to end up like. I think if you're getting this book because you're a collector and you want to have the first appearance of Sam Wilson as Captain America, you got to go for the Hughes variant. I don't think this cover does very well anyway. I remember seeing this book a long time ago on the shelves, and I thought that was just kind of weird. I wasn't really into comics when I saw this book, though. Nonetheless, I would never pick up this copy if I saw it on the shelf. But 119 for 98, I don't think that's bad. But this will probably drop down to 50 after the movie comes out. Weekly Shonen number 34, I think. I don't know what series comes out, but this is I'm kind of reverting back to not comics, but this is a comic book, quote unquote. But 2,500 for this book. One Piece has kind of been on the back burner. I feel like there's a buying opportunity in anything One Piece, especially cards. But watch out for the first, second, third prints when you get this book. Do your research. I didn't want to really get into like the dynamics of the first and second, third prints, but CGC does grade these guys. So I think if you're a collector and you want this like as a piece in your One Piece collection, get the second or third prints and get it graded by CGC and just mount it up. But if you're a hardcore collector and want something for the long term, I could totally see this going for, 10 grand in like 10 years. I know it's kind of like a long-term kind of bet, but One Piece is here to stay. I think I don't know if it's ever going to get to that Pokemon status, but I mean, time will tell. I think there's definitely a lull in One Piece right now, just because Pokemon's so hot and you kind of associate those two properties together. But I think it's a buying opportunity for sure. And Dragon Ball Z, if you have a weekly shonen Dragon Ball Z, that's the first appearance of Dragon Ball in a magazine. Go for that one as well. Before we get into this one, I just want to say thanks to everyone for watching the shows. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to all your friends, all that good stuff, and I'll keep doing these. G.I. Joe, the third series from IDW. This is, I believe, a ratio cover. Pretty hard to find. $300 for 9.8, which isn't bad. Baroness, goodness. I think it's the best cover out of the whole series, in my opinion. But so far, G.I. Joe, the Energon universe, is the best comic book. It's the one book I just can't wait till Wednesday to get. And this would be a nice piece to add to your collection as well. But you're going to pay a pretty good premium for it. However, this is a pretty old book. So I don't know if it's going to, this isn't a suggestion to buy a show, but if you're thinking that this is going to pop up to $600 and $1,000 one day, you're probably wrong, but I don't think it's a bad buy at $300 either. Okay. Okay, here we go. Spider-Man number 12, the 1 in 25 Isino variant. I remember I got this book in a collection for about $1,200, and I ended up netting out of that collection about $1,000. And this was like almost, I bought it at peak, but I graded all the books and I got 9/8 out of every single book and made a killing off that 7-book collection. So anyway, that's a side point. This is incredibly tough in 9.8. I got a Brian Michael Bendis copy signed in a 9.8, thankfully. It's a sick ass cover. A lot of people are giving me crap when I sold this for $2,000. And it's one of those one pieces that to Spider-Man 12, it's a 1 in 25 ratio. I don't know how many stores were buying 25 copies of the initial Spider-Man Miles Morales run, but I gotta assume there wasn't that many. 9.6 for $499. If you get that bad boy for $300, crack it or send off to CGC to get signed by Miles or whomever. Your chance at a 9.8 is pretty high. Super tough at 9.8 though. I don't know if it's a very sought after cover as well, because I think people know the rarity of this book. But I'd say this is one of the top Miles covers. Like if you're a collector, You're going to want that one from the Ultimate Run where he's like in between the taxi cabs, the first appearances and the first Ultimate Spider-Man, whatever series. But I think this is like, as far as ratio, as far as what peak in the run, and the fact that it's Miles and Gwen in one cover and really a tough and high grade. Miles is coming. We've been talking about Miles coming for the past like 5 years, and Null came first, which is kind of funny. But yeah, if you're in the market for this, I mean, $500 for 9.6 isn't bad. I would take a look at that 9.6 though, and just see if there's potential for a 9.8. Nonetheless, I think it's a cool book either way. And last but not least, again, you guys, if you guys haven't heard, Fantastic Four's new trailer came out and it looks amazing. I'm pretty excited about it. I would say it's probably, I watched it about 4 or 5 times. Let's just say that. I think it's a really beautiful, pretty trailer to see. And if you are speccing on the first female Silver Surfer, this is it. Earth X number 12. $20 for this. I wouldn't buy this book. I'd probably just buy the set and I just read it. But if you are speccing on this, which we all love to do, this is probably the time to get into it, because she didn't show up in the trailer. The movie comes out this June. We have no idea what she looks like in the trailer, but this is where the market's going to gravitate if you're going that way. So anyway, that's your list for the week. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. I'll do a video game market report tomorrow. It's a pretty big one. So I hope you do enjoy the show. Hit that like button, subscribe, watch all my shorts, watch all the past videos, and critique all you want. And we will see you next time. Take care.